Architectural Builder Supply is pleased to present you with this recording of the technical question that is listed in the title of this video.
This call may be monitored and recorded for quality assurance.
A threshold, an exterior door threshold, but it doesn't sound, in watching your videos, it doesn't look like that Pemco brand adjustable is what I would need, because I'm going to need to attach that from the top, you know what I'm saying, instead of through the side. So basically it's not new construction, and I can't get into the jam, and so I guess my question is, what, it doesn't sound like the Pemco is going to work for me.
Sure. First, is it okay that I record this conversation so I can email a transcript of it to someone else who will benefit from our conversation?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay. So you have the classic problem, and a problem I'll have personally probably in 10 years. The adjustable top thresholds are used when you have a frame that's been built, because it's a structural member to the bottom of the frame, and as you already alluded, now, removing the existing is as grotesque as a thought process as it seems to be.
I can well imagine.
Yeah. So, and I cannot suggest an elegant way to do that. Now, if you were to get it out, you're going to have the next problem of how to secure down the new threshold.
Correct.
Now, the problem is the aluminum of the threshold itself is not tight down on top of the wood substrate. So if you were to drill through that and then tighten screws down, you're going to crush the aluminum down.
Correct, yeah.
What I have had people do in the past is that they drilled a larger hole through the aluminum only, then sunk an anchor through the wood. The hole that's been drilled in the aluminum is great enough to allow the head of the bolt or the screw or the Tafcon to go down through. Then what people have done, and I don't know where they've sourced them from, but get a plastic filler that will snap into that predetermined standard size hole. And while it doesn't, I personally would silicone that before I snapped it in, and you're going to want to get one that's got a very flat truss style head.
Okay.
I know that they exist only in the sense that if you were to go to an industrial website, hardware company website, you must be able to find these items.
Right. To keep the aluminum from collapsing when I tighten down
Right. Or actually, I can't think of an elegant way to do it. Because
technically, I guess technically I really don't need an adjustable threshold, because if I can get one that's pretty close to the correct height that I need, the door bottom, I could get a door bottom that would work to form a good seal, I suppose. Am I thinking that right?
I think so. Is the existing threshold? Is it mandatory that it be removed?
Well, it's kind of busted up. It's one of those. First of all, it's an interior swing door, and it's. I'm trying to remember the terminology. It's a latching type, to where there's a plastic piece on the door bottom that latches into the interior part of the threshold to form the seal. Do you get what you see what I'm saying here? Yeah. And so, but it's, where it's almost, it's over 25 years old. And so, I've looked on the web, and there isn't anything like it. I've seen something similar on Pemco's site that has a back latch, but I really, honestly, I really don't care to have one of those. I'd rather just replace it. At any rate, the plastic latching portion of the threshold itself is all busted up, and so I really, it's not forming a good seal anymore. So I really do need to replace that threshold. Now, it doesn't need to be. It's on a door going from the garage into the house, and so it's not. It's not like it's going into the exterior of the home to where it needs to be super weather tight. You know what I mean? But I want a decent seal on it to keep the bugs out and the dust. So
I'm also thinking that you might be able to, since you'll have the threshold, drill through from the underside, drill through the wood a certain diameter so that you can run up into it a post that will go from the bottom of the threshold, and then you'd have to kind of cut it on that 5-degree angle for the base, for the top of the threshold. But you might be able to put in a stiffener inside of there so that when you tighten down the screw, you won't crush the aluminum in. And then at that point, you could also dimple it as well, because you'd be using this pipe, let's say conduit, as a stiffener. You could then drill like an 1/8 of an inch hole through the top of the threshold, and then slightly dimple it down. If you had a center punch, slightly dimple it, then clean that off with like a 3/4 inch actual countersinking bit. And then with that stiffener, you probably would have some relatively good success at that point.
That's true. Yeah. Okay. Well, you've been a big help. I'm going to have to give this whole thought. And then, so the Pimcos look like a really, really nice, well-built brand. But I guess one reason for my call is to find out if there's a different type of threshold that would maybe work better for me.
What I would like to do is, our email is under Contact Us in the upper right-hand corner. If you take the time to send me a couple of photographs, I will certainly take the time to give you an educated response.
Yeah, I could do that. Okay. Well, I could do that. I appreciate that.
Sure.
Okay, that's what I'll do.
My name is Richard. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Richard. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Architectural Builders Supply hopes you have enjoyed this program.